Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Mukami, the environmentalist. So today I want us to talk about climate change and forestry. We are blessed as a country to have forests. I'm not saying this, but I'm saying it. Yes, we are blessed. We have forest both planted and then the indigenous forest. The government has committed to making sure that at least the country has 10% of the forest cover. It is very well provided even in the constitution that the country is aiming at providing, at ensuring that 10% of the forest of the land cover in this country is forest. Now, that is a good move, but is climate change going to shorten our aim? Is it going to shorten our efforts? Now, let's look at how climate change is going to affect forestry, or is already affecting the forestry sector. Before we get there, I want to subscribe to my channel. Hit on that subscription button. Once you've hit on that, it means you're subscribed to my channel. And by the way, to my subscribers, thank you. We are already past 100 subscribers. Thank you very much. One of the way that climate change has influenced forest is it has affected the growth rate of the forest, the composition of the forest, and even the regeneration of the forest. What does this mean? It means specific trees. For example, we have planted forest plantations that usually should take a span of about 30 years or even 15 years, 10 years, depending on the species. And then they are good to be harvested. They are mature. Now then they can be sold. They can be cleared and some more trees are planted. And of course, this is one of the way that the country makes revenue from the forest. And of course, the Kenya Forest Service is in charge of the forest here in Kenya. Now, when climate change comes in, remember we talked about the increasing temperatures. We talked about increasing rainfall or even reduction of temperature or reduction of the rainfall. These factors are going to influence the growth rate. If a tree was supposed to mature within 15 years, now it takes about 20 years to mature. Now that is not good for revenue generation. The composition of the forest. Composition means what is found. For example, in an indigenous forest like a Aberdare forest, what is usually there? We have so many species of plants that we can find in the forest. So some of these species are going to go extinct. Temperature increasing means some of the plants species are going to disappear. If rainfall increases in some forest, some plants are going to disappear. It means we are going to lose some species in the forest. And you know, every plant in the forest is as important as the other one. The big, huge trunks are as important as the fern that grows under those trees. So every species play a part in the forest. So disappearing of several species means that forest has been affected. The services it provides to the people around or to the surrounding means will be affected. Now the other way is the regeneration of the forest. Remember, some trees are cut down and then they regenerate. Some forest parts are just left for them to regenerate by themselves. So with climate change, it means after plantation, it is very hard to regenerate that forest. Like trees, seedlings are not growing as well as they should have done, or they used to. Some species have gone extinct that used to assist the acceleration of the regeneration. They have gone extinct. So now that is not a good thing. Climate change comes with variation of weather conditions, variation of temperature, and variation of rainfall. Now that is where the problem comes. The other one that is very, 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 very pronounced, and we have seen it so frequently, is the forest fires. Increase in temperatures. I still believe more research needs to be done on the increase in the atmospheric temperatures and the prolonged forest fires. The frequency of forest fires is now wanting. The the duration the forest fires take is one thing. Climate change means it has increased the atmospheric temperatures have increased, that is causing climate change. Now, with more atmospheric temperatures, it means the rate of evaporation is very high. So once the fire comes, the forest is already dry. So the rate at which that fire is going to spread, the energy that is going to be used to put off that fire is quite wanting. And remember, we are going to use finances. We have to put in resources to bring down those fires. The longer they take, the more resources we use. The more frequent the fires come, the more resources we shall need. Now, remember, these are resources that could have been used somewhere else. Like, for example, the roads could have been they could have been used by the resources that are usually directed to put down the fire. Now, you see how this is affecting us as Wanjiku. Now, assuming that fire came and consumed a whole plantation that the government was expecting to sell in the next 5 years to generate revenue to assist us pay loan for China or to do something with the money. Now, it means we have to look for that resources elsewhere. Now, that is one way that climate change is affecting the forestry sector here in the country. The fires have become more frequent and they are taking long. Once they have started, they take long before they go off. Now, the other one we talked about, the rising atmospheric temperatures is also causing instances or occasions of pests. They are pests, diseases that are just coming out from nowhere. Now they are coming. We get these pests are happening. We have a new pest that consumes a whole plantation of forest. We have another disease that consumes a specific species of trees in the forest, and now this is not a good thing because biodiversity is resource. These are natural resources that we are losing. So increasing temperature could favor some pests, or even reduction in the atmospheric of the temperature of the area could also favor the spread of certain diseases or even some. For example, in a certain year, I can't remember in which year, there was some disease that attacked, some pest that attacked the cypress. The cypress was called cypress aphids. I guess somebody should let me know down in the comment section which year that was and what was that. That's the specific pest that was attacking the cypress, and so many cypress. Now you can imagine the plantations that we have in this country of cypress, and now there's an aphid, or there is a pest that is affecting the cypress. So much trees had to be cut down either immaturely, or so many of them were destroyed by the pest. Now that is not a good thing. That is a resource that is going down into waste. Also, some species are getting extinct, like they get lost. We do not have them anymore. Some trees would do well in some place, now they don't. They cannot even germinate. Now that is not a good thing. You also find there are some species that have come. They could not survive there, but now the climate has changed. Now they are able to survive. We have a plant called madenge. Now this one is an invasive plant that has really destroyed and has caused a lot of damage in several counties where it is found. For example, in Baringo, in Kitui, Machakos, it causes a lot of, it is a new plant that didn't exist then. It has come to exist now after the climate has already changed. Probably now the climate is favorable for it. So now that is why it is now doing very well. Not a good thing. So these are just a few I mentioned. There are so many other effects and impacts of climate change when it comes to forestry, but I'm talking about these because some of them at least are things that are substantial, things that I have felt, things that I have seen. I have seen cypress being just drying, a big cypress tree just drying up. I have seen some trees I would plant in my home like Kipia some years ago. Right now they cannot grow there. I have seen new trees that did not do well in Laikipia now are doing very well. So I have seen some of these things that we're talking about, and now figuring out or factoring in that forestry is a resource. The government depends on forestry. So I mean, forestry provides us with a livelihood. How about 70% of the families of the population in Kenya depend on forestry, on trees for fuel in their homes. So that is it is such a big sector. It provides employment to so many people. So many people are doing are millers that use timber. We use timber for our houses, our beds, our tables, our almost everything that we have around us is made from forestry. So if forestry is going to hit hard on if climate change is going to hit hard on forestry, then how are we going to get supply of all these resources? And how many people are working in the forest, are depending on the forest, that are going to lose their livelihood? For example, you find a youth has some seedling. They have a seed bed, or they have a nursery where they sell trees. Now, if these things are going to affect the trees or the specific species, and now nobody is buying trees, or the trees are just, where is this young man going to get food? If I depend on if I'm a sawmiller, where am I going to get resources? Where am I going to get a livelihood? Where are my kids going to get school fees? Now, that is why it is important to know that these climate change impacts are affecting you, the Wanjiko, the me, the small me in my small ways I'm trying to come up, is going to be affected and to be pressed down by climate change. And that is why then it is important that you take personal actions, responsibility when it coming to mitigating climate change. So till next time, I'll see you in the next video. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let's continue discussing more on this impact down in the comment section.